Here we go.
From the Webcast One Live studios located in the Skywalk system of downtown Des Moines, a worldwide Blitz production. The Bigfoot Diaries Live. Featuring your host, Troy Church.
I don't think he's doing a whole lot of singing with the Tabernacle Choir.
Joining him in the studio is his illustrious sidekick, Shep.
He has hereditary tendencies of the most diabolical kind.
The always dangerous Lance Tomb.
Dancing is forbidden.
And the real man behind the curtain, Cveckian.
It's such a fine line between stupid and clever. Yeah,
Just a little turnabout.
Do not adjust your resolution. Things are about to get fun.
Hey, how you doing? Worldwide Woods, how are you? Welcome to show 3 of the Bigfoot Diaries Live. Got a great show for you tonight. We got some amazing guests in the studio. Plus, I got my regular band of gypsies here with me. We got Shep, Cveckian, and Grant's Tomb. Everybody's back in the door.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Slightly hungover.
You hung over. Did you go out last night?
Yes. I went to the Dead Horse Trauma CD release show.
How was that?
It was a good time. It was a real good time. Yep. All the bands were awesome. Sirius Minor put on probably one of the best shows I've seen in a long time.
Right on.
So
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
We'll talk a little bit more about that as the night goes on a little bit. How about you, Shep? How's your weekend going?
Fantastic. No sleep, but
Sleep's overrated.
it is. That's what I'm learning.
It's one of the, they say it's a necessity of life, but
It's a lie.
the more you sleep, the less you live.
That's right.
So we got Mitch, Newman, and John Price in the studio. We're going to pick their brain a little bit. Mitch and John are both fans in the local scene. John's a musician. He plays in the Reefer Street Express. Mitch is, you can see him shaking his skinny booty at about any place Thankful Dirt is playing, who's also going to join us tonight. And you should know, ladies, Mitch is worldwide. He spent some time in Serbia this last winter, right?
Yes, I've gone global.
Can you speak a little closer to the mic?
I've gone global.
And you spent some time in Serbia because you have a friend who is Pat Moriarty.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a famous cartoonist. Is that right?
Yes, he is. As underground cartoonist goes, he's about as famous as they come anymore. And he just kind of invited me along as his wingman, and really eye-opening, unbelievable trip.
And where exactly did you go?
We did 2 weeks in Serbia between Belgrade and Pančevo, Serbia, and a week in Rome.
Okay.
And did nothing but art festivals for 3 weeks. I would recommend that to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Was there an event that was geared towards him? I mean, wasn't he a special guest at an event?
Yeah, he had an art opening in Pančevo, and they had a Novodoba festival. We did an artist workshop while we were over there, and then a crack festival in Rome.
The Crack Cocaine Festival?
No, just crack.
Okay. Is that Italian for... Do you know what it's Italian for?
I don't know the relation to it, but
Okay.
it was a very bizarre thing held in an old military installation, prison, underground corridors, cells. It was bizarre.
What's the... It was held underground in a prison? Is that what you just said?
It was a prison, and it was called Forte Prenestino.
Okay.
And really dark history with the Nazis and prison for a long time, and then they shut it down, and then the counterculture held a punk rock festival there in 1985 and decided it'd be a really cool place to occupy. And so they did, and the government kind of liked that. They kind of kept them all in one place there, and now all spread out, so they're totally self-sufficient, make their own beer, restaurants, coffee shop. Really neat place.
Did you check out live music while you were there?
Yeah, did a lot of live music. Our host in Belgrade arranged the night of Pat's opening over there. He had a band called Arby Garby from Italy, and he specifically arranged it so we could meet these guys. And they were shooting a documentary on their on their next album, and they were part of a really cool project where, I don't know if anyone knows the history of Serbia, but we just bombed the crap out of them about 10 years ago. And we were really good at hitting their libraries and stuff. And so RB Garby's got this thing called Books Across the Balkans, where they were bringing and donating books to Bosnia, Serbia, Croatia, all through there. But the host kind of hooked us up with those. And there was a lot of electronic music, a lot of gypsy music. It was really neat.
Did you get was there any kind of punk flavor at all going on?
With RB Garby, yeah. I mean, they were like a traditional Italian / punk band. They would do Clash covers and with lots of horns.
Little ska kind of thing going on. On your left over there is John Price. John is one of my favorite people in Des Moines. I got to say that. I got several favorite people, but John is cool in the fact that he's very articulate. He speaks his mind, and he doesn't pull punches. And it's really cool to have him in the show tonight because I do want to talk to him about some things. Des Moines has a perception that it seems like there's two sides in Des Moines, and this is my own view of Des Moines' music scene. That there's two sides. You have the side where the bands play and they just kind of mind their own business, and then you have the side where the Des Moines Music Coalition comes in and they kind of run things from their side of things. And I'm not necessarily going to just rip on the Des Moines Music Coalition. I think they probably do some good things to the Des Moines scene. But I know John is a proponent of it, and if you don't mind, John, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about that tonight. Well, what does the Des Moines Music Coalition do that's good?
Well, I think they do a lot for, local businesses here. I think probably a lot more than they do for the real artistry in the music scene. They will boost themselves, saying that they have an agenda of pushing for the best in the local music scene so we can get the best talent to be recognized. And then it seems like there's a lot of cronyism that goes on.
What do you mean cronyisms?
Well, guys on the committee that seem to play the festivals every year, girlfriends of people that are insiders that are now playing
in the festivals,
playing all the festivals. I'm not a huge fan of the AIM scene, and I know I rip on them a lot, but they've incorporated that now into the DMMC, and it carries a lot of influence, and it just seems like a lot of the real hardworking musicians in this town are being ignored.
Okay. The Des Moines Music Coalition, from an outsider's view, like Dave, you spent some time on their website this weekend, you said, and you looked at it, and what did you get out of it? Just out of the web, from somebody who doesn't really live in Des Moines, what opinion did you form?
Well, I don't know that I totally formed an opinion, but I don't know. To me, it just doesn't seem, all their talk of creating like a community, or even it's almost seemed like they take a stance of like their economic development type of situation, which is fine, I guess. But again, like you're saying with the bands and stuff, it seems like a lot of, I think, talented people that maybe aren't connected then are going to get heard, which may be the better kind of bands, It's
almost like a fraternity. That's kind of how I see it. It's you almost have to rush kind of
it's
to get in.
It's very cliquish.
And
if you can bring a big fan base out to your show, even if it is a novelty act, they'll just jump on that. They love that. And I don't know. I'm an older guy, and they are paying a lot of attention to the younger kids on the scene, but there's a lot of them that they're still ignoring. I mean, there's some really, really good bands playing around here in Des Moines. And I guess another problem that I have is that, well, if you look at like the awards that the DMMC gave out here a couple months ago, they gave them to the writers and people in this music community that carry the water for them. They seem to recognize the people that are doing things for them.
Isn't that fair, though? Or would you argue that it's not?
Well, it is in a way, but a lot of hardworking musicians don't have time to go to their meetings and,
They charge
being a
charge
joiner
dues. I
or-
understand. I understand they charge dues to be a part of their organization. Is that right, Grant?
Yeah, I'm trying to look up the exact dollar amount here, but it's an annual fee. From what I remember, and I'm trying to look it up right now, but one of the perks from being a member of their organization, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here, was that you got advanced ticket sale options. That was really about it, and it's like, oh, cool.
You know, if you're watching this and you are a member or a part of the DMMC and you want to call in, you know, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to talk to you. The number is 855-244-0077. And we'd love to hear what you have to say. You know, we're not just here to throw you under the bus, but, you know, it's just, I see it over and over. I see the Des Moines Music Coalition preaching that they want to make this a united city of music. And I still see the two sides, and I see it maybe now more prevalent than ever, especially with some Facebook sites that have been created, the pay-to-play page, and some other things. I just see a lot of division in the Des Moines music scene.
I see where their mission statement is to support the hardest working bands in Des Moines, but like you, I go by Brian Farland's Bible every week to see where I'm going to go see live music.
Right.
And it's funny, all the bands I see appearing at their festivals and their events aren't the ones I see on that list every week. You know?
Right.
It seems like they only play the events, and the hardest working musicians are the ones that are out there playing 2-3 times a week, or even twice. You know, it doesn't make much sense to me.
So they build themselves as an organization that's trying to help out any band and every band in the Des Moines area, but they don't. As you said, it's like a fraternity.
Well,
it's guys that are members of their organization, or just guys they like.
Yeah, it just seems a lot of guys on the committee end up on the bill every time, and now it's their girlfriends are on the bills too. So,
by Chris Ford's own volition in that City View article, he did state that the Music Coalition has kind of ignored the metal scene. But that's just probably the most accurate description. I mean, it's just been ignored. You don't see. Des Moines, it's just kind of a cesspool of metal bands. Every Friday night you can go to the Hole. There's guaranteed to be at least 1 or 2 metal bands playing. And you just don't see them on 8035 or GDP. They're not there. I mean, there's rock bands, there's punk bands. But
there's a lot of good stuff going on underground in this town. They just do not get mentioned by these guys.
Yeah, and it's I see a revolving door, and like in the local media, I see. For a while there, they were just revolving the same bands in and out of the articles, covering the same art, you know. And I understand that the way the DMMC has their festivals set up, that they're staggered throughout the year. So that, of course, that's going to happen because, you know, the same bands are playing the festivals. But I've seen kind of a turn on that. And I think a lot of it, John, is when you and we actually met with Chad Taylor at the Whole Avenue Tap one night. We invited him up and we met. And I've kind of seen a change in his articles, for instance. I see more Andy Fleming and Brother Trucker. I see more Jamie Grimm, which before I never saw any. And there's some other bands I've noticed that, you know, they seem to be popping up a little bit more and more, and they're finally getting the recognition that they deserve.
Yeah, I think that those guys are doing a better job. I even think, you know, that Lawler and covering Jamie on the pay-to-play thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of a ballsy statement on his part to go up against those guys that he's so close with.
Right.
I mean, that's taken on the powers that be, and I thought he did a really good job with that article.
Yeah, and I want to point that out, that you are complimentary of these guys. You know, when they do the right things, you're not just here to put them under the bus.
Doing a lot of good things lately too. Which has been a change. You know, for so long it just seemed like the media was so dominated by what the Des Moines Music Coalition was doing, and I mean, last week Chad covered Andy Fleming, or Brother Trucker, Andy Fleming, I guess, and he also had a little thing on Joe and Vicki Price.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the week of the GDP thing. So
right.
He kind of, in a way, ignored all that and covered some of the things that I think are more relevant in this town or in this state.
I got it right here in front of me, and it's speaking of the gross domestic product, or the GDP. This is from the article that was written, I believe, the purpose of the gross domestic product is to highlight the hardest working bands, musicians, and songwriters in our community, and to give the fair people of Iowa something to be proud of. We know you're out there, and we want everyone else to know too. And back to your point, kudos to them for getting House of Large Sizes in. That's a huge draw. And I think just from what I've seen from Dave and Barb's Facebook post, they really enjoyed coming down to Des Moines, and they have a lot of good things to say about the Des Moines Music Coalition and all that, which that's great. Back to that hardest working bands thing, there's just a multitude of bands in this town that just are out there night after night. And John, you're one of the hardest working musicians. You're out there.
I wouldn't say that at all, but the songwriters I'm lucky enough to work with, I have a lot of respect for.
I've seen you play 4 or 5 nights in a row, though. I mean, and you're the guy they'll call. Hey, we need a guitar player. Do you want to come in and play? Or hey, your buddy.
Yeah, it's just fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not work then. If you enjoy it, it's not work.
Well, and that's the other thing. With all my bitching and all that, it's not like I'm trying to advance any musical cause of my own. I'm just lucky enough to play with some really good songwriters.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my friends are getting ignored, and I've been a music fan in this town since back to before I graduated. I was getting into the bars underage and digging lots of good bands that were playing from around the state of Iowa, and have for the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like the more talented people rose to the top back in the day. Now the people that get the recognition are the ones that are insiders.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing with this pay-to-play thing, this stuff didn't always exist in this town, and it's. I just think it sets out a bad precedent, and as far as so hard to be a working musician, which I don't consider myself, but a lot of my friends are, and these guys have got a really tough time trying to get the product out and making it, and when you can't get 2 paragraphs in the weekly paper because it's getting warmed over with all this
right
novelty stuff. I know that's harsh, but it's what I see.
Well,
and I understand trendies, what sells for now.
But
just have a little respect.
It warrants a discussion because the trends. You can't argue with trends. I mean, you can't take away FM radio and just everything's going to be cool. Everybody's going to start listening to Howling Wolf and Dictators.
No,
I mean, but it's bucking the trend. And I really do believe that you have made ripples in the scene. By approaching Chad and talking to him.
It was you that approached Chad. I think kind of took him out of his element when he saw me there that night.
What do you call it? The belly of the beast, I believe he called it. But it's
the problem though with trendy doesn't always mean good,
exactly.
or anything like that. I mean, right. Mm-hmm. Trendy is usually is not the best of the bands. So, it's always what's underneath that, and if that's not getting covered, then these aren't getting exposure, which then hurts them more and more. People go, unfortunately, kind of are told what's cool, and it seems like they'll go and just do that. These guys, if they say they're for everybody, they should give everybody a shot. I mean, I know that's probably hard to do with how many bands there are, but
well, how does the due thing work? The dues. Do you have to pay dues to be recognized by them? Or will they put you on a festival if you don't pay dues? Does anybody have any idea how that works?
I don't know much about them.
Yeah.
From what I found on the website, it's just contribution kind of thing. I would hope it isn't. You have to actually, because that gets back into the whole pay-to-play argument, because essentially you would be paying to just get on a festival.
Right. Well, and and another knock that they recently had was they have this Hy-Vee, is it the triathlon?
Are they the ones doing that?
And the Des Moines Music Coalition has put up an ad, asking for bands to volunteer to play.
Wow.
Yeah. And you have Hy-Vee, one of the biggest companies in Iowa.
Bands must support or supply their own PA systems. And then after somebody kind of questioned it, they said, well, we're looking for hobbyists.
do they get free beer at least?
I don't think there's.
I'm a hobbyist when it comes to music. I don't think they want me.
But how many hobbyists have their own PA that can go out and It's all kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
It's their corporate sponsor, Hy-Vee, and so this is one. And once again, just cronyism.
Cronyism at its best. Okay, well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to pop off here for a few minutes, and then we'll pop right back on, and we'll talk to Mitch a little bit more about his trip over to Serbia and Rome and all the good times he had over there. So we'll see you in a few.
Webcast 1 live.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition,
all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
Located on 13th Street between Grand and Locust, downtown Des Moines. The Ritual Cafe features an all-vegetarian menu, unique specialty drinks, and they proudly serve organic coffee and espresso. It's the only place in town with all-natural fruit juice smoothies made with hemp nut. They feature live music on the weekends and open mic and unplugged poetry once a month. They also showcase local artists on the wall. No matter what time of the day, begin your ritual at Ritual Cafe downtown. Ritual Cafe, DSMIowa.com.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittiesusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Welcome back to the Bigfoot Diaries Live. Hopefully you survived that break there. I was kind of watching the commercials, chuckling to ourselves. They had a detox commercial right into a Miss Kitty's commercial. Good times. As we promised, Mitch, I want to talk to you a little bit about your travels. I got this little book you gave me. This is, I don't know if they can see it on camera, but basically this is a book that was produced by who?
It's actually just a sketchbook that Pat did from the photographs that we took over there.
Okay.
And he sent it back to Serbia, and they printed it and published it over there. It's actually, I hope, going to be our ticket back to Serbia too.
So is it just it's Pančevo? Is that am I pronouncing it right? Pančevo, and it's basically just an account of that trip that he put together in little sketches.
Yeah, just a bunch of photographs. Pančevo is it's a really neat little town. But I did a lot of reading before I went over there, and we just pummeled that place with bombs, and we totally contaminated that whole area. I mean, we precision hit all their chemical plants and refineries, and they weren't even allowed to grow root vegetables over there until just a couple of years ago. It was so bad.
Were they receptive to you being from the United States?
Amazingly so. That's what shocked. I didn't know what to expect over there. And within an hour of reaching, it was kind of scary landing at the airport. I mean, all the guards looked like Rambo villains and stuff, very serious, stern-faced guards. And And then you drive from the airport into town, and you see buildings still with bomb damage in Belgrade, and so that was kind of intimidating. But as soon as we got and just started talking to people, we went to a small restaurant, and I stood outside and snapped some pictures, and all the waitresses came over and started flashing the peace sign and jumping up and down. And from that moment on, it was just great. It was great.
So, what were some personal highlights of the trip? Okay, well, let's back up a little bit. I'm sorry. Let's talk about Pat a little bit more. Pat lives in Washington State. Is that right?
Right, Port Orchard, Washington.
And he has Rolling Stone. You know,
1994, I think he was named the Rolling Stone Hot Cartoonist of the Year.
Okay, so he's been doing this for a long time.
Been doing it for a long time. Paid his dues.
I know that there's some local musicians who have utilized his artwork on their album covers. Stuttering Jimmy and the Goosebumps.
Yeah, I lived in Indianola, and it turned out I was next door neighbors with Jimmy.
Stuttering Jimmy.
And so I had started talking to him and found out he was looking to have some artwork done.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave him Pat's card and everything, and they arranged something. Matter of fact, come to think of it, there it is.
Right there. There it is.
It is. But yeah, he did that, and since then he's been back several times, and I've got to introduce him around to all the friends I have around here, and turns out that his wife actually went to school with Darren. They knew each other. He's gonna be working on the new Thankful Dirt album.
Okay.
Gonna be doing that for them. Introduced him to Jake, so he really loved the music scene around here. He's really fired up to get more involved.
Did he do something with Brother Trucker also?
No, he hasn't. I mean, I took him to a First Wednesday.
Okay. I thought for some reason you'd put that bug in my ear, but I'm not sure what that was about. Okay, so Pat has done. You know, Pat, he's a busy guy. He's been invited to come to this festival in Panchevo, and so you guys are over there. You drive past the bomb buildings. You said everything was easy after the photo outside the restaurant. So what basically went down? Did you attend like conventions or?
No, it was like they would have shows at different places each night, and for the first 4 nights was in Belgrade. We went to the Center for Cultural Decontamination for the opening ceremonies, and then we went to a place that would that hid some Jews back in World War II, and they'd have a show there one night and show a bunch of films. Got to watch a lot of films about the fight that they've had for years between fascism and communism, and being torn between, and now throw the West in, and now
Were these made by filmmakers in Serbia or okay?
Yeah, and they were old films,
like a film festival type thing.
Yeah. So
okay.
well, we did something different every night.
Okay.
And like the first 4 nights were in Belgrade, and then after that we went to Pančevo, and he had an opening there. Then after the festival, we went to an artist workshop in a place called Delablato Sands, and it's like Europe's largest desert, only they reforested it after World War II, so it's a green desert. It's still shaped like a desert. You got dunes all over and everything, but it's got grass growing out of it. But it was amazing. And but a workshop where they had a bunch of cartoonists, and they would do a comics jam. They did a 65-page comic book in a couple of days where they all
is that right?
And,
all different artists?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
On one story. So
how do you get a copy of that?
I actually have a copy.
Do you?
Yeah.
Did they print copies off there, or do you have the original?
They sent it to me when they sent me the Pančevo
Gotcha.
sketchbooks. Yeah.
So were the people enthused by this event? I mean, is it something that just happens all the time over there, and they're just kind of
Well, yeah. The amount of art over there is staggering. You would walk down a street and see a building that was falling down, probably condemned, and trees growing out of it. But you walk inside and it'd be covered with art, that no one would ever see. Beautiful art, and even their graffiti was beautiful over there. But everyone's seems to be involved, and they have events going constantly. What was the rest of the question?
I mean, the people. I mean, does these festivals happen all the time? I mean, is it or is it just kind of like once a year type thing?
I mean, the Novadoba Festival will be again at the end of May, and they kind of alter the starting times, but that's not all. They have several others during the course of the year.
Excellent. What are you thinking about, Dave?
I'm actually not thinking about anything. Thinking about it, I don't think about it. I think is I guess comparing it with the United States, these kind of art festivals or with I mean, is it comparable? Is it bigger there? I mean, some rock festivals.
I just met Pat in March in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Went down and picked him up at the airport in Little Rock, and we went to Hot Springs. But it was an independent music festival, but he also had an art show there, and it was very similar. They had a little documentary from the festival the year before, and I was sitting there watching that, and it just hit me how it was almost interchangeable with what we did in Serbia. And that's what I learned. That was my first time out of the country, and that was really reaffirming to me to actually meet with so many like-minded people half a world away with completely different history and background from us. And then to see it again in Hot Springs. I was actually a little bit more nervous going to Hot Springs than I was going to Europe, but it was a blast too.
Awesome.
Great.
I hope I'm not confusing something you told me with something I read in one of Samantha's articles. She did some coverage of the South African punk scene. So if this doesn't ring a bell with you, just tell me. But were you telling me about a band that literally formed from reading underground magazines about rock and roll, and they formed their band, never hearing a song?
We had a presentation at the art workshop we went to. And this guy's a DJ now. He's kind of a celebrity over there, and Zoran Filipovic. And he was telling us back in Yugoslavia, they weren't allowed to listen or watch anything from the West, but they could read. And they read all kinds of stories about the Sex Pistols and the Clash and everything else. And they decided they wanted to be punks too. And somehow they started a band without ever hearing any of those. And we had a lot of great pictures and everything to go with the presentation, but he didn't have any recordings from that time. I would have killed to hear what it sounded like.
Did they dress the part? And
yeah. They look good.
Right on. I think overall, that's probably the coolest story right there. I mean, it's just underground reading to, just.
Well, I'll hook you up sometime. Maybe you can get it right from the horse's mouth.
That would be really cool. If you have any questions or you want to make any comments, give us a call, 1-855-244-0077. Gosh, the phone just doesn't ring here.
No calls.
It's a lot of pressure on me. I don't have anything else to say. So last night, and I'm just going to change the subject here totally. Last night at the Whole Avenue Tap, they had what they called their 420 festival, and they had several bands playing. It was one of the greatest rock and roll nights I've seen in a long time. You had the band, the Blue Royals opening up, then you had the Fruition, Stuttering Jimmy and the Goosebumps, Jacob County and Damaged Goods, then Johnny Reeferstein and the High Rollers. And the thing throughout the night was there happened to be a shootout. Well, there was a guy barricaded in a house up the street behind the hole. And so the cops had basically had this entire bar surrounded the entire night, which,
kept me from attending.
It thwarted a bunch of people from coming in. Yeah. After watching the Boston thing all week long, I'm just. It was almost like I couldn't transfer what I was seeing in Boston to what was happening, in Des Moines, just right up the street from where I live. And I guess I wish you guys were there so we could talk about it, because it was something else.
I drove by.
And you said last night you went to Dead Horse Trauma.
Yeah, I went to their CD release party was last night at Woolies. On the bill was a band called Pinwheel, and I believe they are out of Fort Dodge. Somebody text or tweet me if I'm wrong on that. But I had a chance to see them before, and I would really recommend check out this band Pinwheel. If you're a fan of Tool, that's probably the easiest comparison that I could throw out there. But that really doesn't do it justice. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there who cite Tool as an influence. These guys were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I about fell over laughing. The very last song, they have a keyboardist sampler. He comes out playing a keytar. I've never seen one of those in life.
What is it?
A keytar?
Like keyboard guitar?
A keyboard guitar. I'd never seen one of those in person. You know, you watch like VH1 and they'll play those 80s music videos and you see those everywhere. Never seen one in person. That threw me for a loop. Cirrus Minor played the show. That's probably the best that I've ever heard them sound. Not to say that they aren't a good band. They are probably one of the best in the Des Moines area. But they just nailed it. I skipped the third band. Drinks at Woolies are just too stupidly expensive. $4 for a 12-ounce glass of beer is unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. So I went to the bar next door to get my past Blue Ribbon and Jack Daniels for $5. So, but then, yeah, Dead Horse played. The second they got up there, a giant mosh pit opened up, and some kid went cruising by me and knocked my beer out of my hand. So,
your $4 beer?
Yeah, my $4 beer. I was very, very upset about that. You know, and the hilarious thing is my fiance too told me right before we started. She said, "You don't want to stand here. There's going to be a mosh pit. You know that's going to happen." I'm like, "God, there won't be a mosh pit. They don't have mosh pits in Des Moines. That's not going to happen."
Bam.
Yeah, there was a mosh pit. Yeah, Dead Horse nailed it. You know, you were talking about bands that work hard. This is a band that literally does everything themselves. They do their own. Their drummer's a graphic designer by trade. That's his day job. He does all their artwork. He comes up with all their T-shirt designs. The singer runs his own screen printing business, so he prints the T-shirts. You know, I mean, the other guys in the band, you can drive around anywhere in Des Moines, and on random stop signs or, you know, public restrooms, you're going to find Dead Horse Trauma stickers with their website, you know, on there. These guys understand the importance of not only having a presence online, but also like literally going out and working the streets. A lot of bands these days, it seems like they just want to be a Facebook band, if you know what I mean. Unwilling to actually go out and hand out flyers. These guys are outside of pretty much every show handing out flyers.
I was in northern Missouri. I was actually driving down to Tulsa this summer, just last fall, and we pulled over into a Casey's in northern Missouri, just off of 235, and in the bathroom was a Dead Horse Trauma sticker on the paper towel rack.
Oh wow!
You know, and I wasn't even surprised. I was just like, of course there is. You know, I heard about those guys long before I knew who they were. So what they are doing is working. You know, and it is a testament to hardworking bands. You know, and back to that, John. I know that you're not much of a metal guy. I'm speculating. I guess I don't really know. I guess, but
Not a huge fan. I like some of the better metal.
I kind of, you're more of a champion of the blues Americana. You know,
It's more what I grew up with. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, your brother is Joe Price, who is a Hall of Famer, blues musician, who's, you know, obviously just fantastic. So, you know, back to hardworking bands. Who are some of the bands that you would like to see become more recognized, and how? And aside from just complaining about it on webcasts,
I'm not sure if I want to throw anybody under the bus right now.
I don't think anybody's watching, John.
Well, you know, that show that you talked about at the Hole last night, those are some really, really good bands there.
Right.
Going to have a really good band here in just a minute playing for you.
Right.
I really admire kids like Aaron and Kat from the High Crest that are working so hard and getting so much better all the time.
Right.
The ones that are really, really working it, trying to perfect their craft rather than, and what you're saying about marketing, I think that is great. I think that once you start pushing, substance has got to be the first priority. And these bands I see really working hard and perfecting their craft, And so there's something, well, my brother played in the Mother Blues band, and so since back then, knowing guys like Bo Ramsey and, Dave Moore and Greg Brown, there's a real Iowa sound here and a lot of the really good folk music and roots music.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's the stuff that I love most, Darren's band from the 90s, High and Lonesome, guys like Davey Zolo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're everywhere. And there is that common, I don't know, there's a lot of space in Iowa music, a lot of depth in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the stuff that I really like. You know, not take away from the metal or anything else, but it's that Iowa sound that's always really struck a chord with me.
And have you heard the Ames bands do their tribute to Iowa City bands? Have you heard that?
Yeah, I guess that I was a little disappointed that there weren't more Iowa City songwriters on that. Because the Iowa City Song Project kind of bummed me out, I guess, that there's bands from Ames and I don't know, you know. I mean, that's kind of where the Iowa sound originated. Shouldn't that be what it's about?
Right.
So, yeah, there were some bands I was disappointed that weren't on there and some bands I was disappointed that were on there. Other than that, there were some really good bands on there.
Awesome. All right, we'll leave it at that. We're going to go to another commercial here, and then we'll come back, and we have Thankful Dirt here. They'll be in the studio with us. We'll have them sit down and answer some questions from us, and then we'll be lucky to have them play for us. So hang tight. We'll be right back.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Located on 13th Street between Grand and Locust, downtown Des Moines. The Ritual Cafe features an all-vegetarian menu, unique specialty drinks, and they proudly serve organic coffee and espresso. It's the only place in town with all-natural fruit juice smoothies made with hemp nut. They feature live music on the weekends and open mic and unplugged poetry once a month. They also showcase local artists on the wall. No matter what time of the day, begin your ritual at Ritual Cafe downtown. Ritual Cafe, DSMIowa.com.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittysusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Welcome back to the Bigfoot Diaries Live. There's a light switch on the woods. There it goes. We got a caller real quick. We're gonna have Thankful Dirt here in just a second, but we got a caller, and apparently it's Pat from calling out in Washington. So, Mitch, could we get you to put some headphones on real quick? Do we have some headphones that you can put on? Will they stretch? Can you? Oh, jeez. How do I look? You look great. You look fantastic. So let's go to the phone here, and we'll get Pat. I think I'm doing this right.
Hello, you guys.
Hey, Pat. How you doing?
Pretty good. I was watching this thing, and my ears were burning, so I thought, hey, I'd better call in and say hello and let you know at least one person's listening.
Well, that's good to know. Gosh, now I feel pressure now that I know that. What's going on out in Washington?
Well, one thing that Mitch did mention is that I am actually an Iowan myself. I've been living in Washington for the last 20 years, but I'm from Iowa. I graduated from Greenfield High School.
Okay.
And I really have been having a lot of fun with the Iowa music scene lately. You guys were talking about House of Large Sizes. I did one of their CD covers for them a few years ago.
That's right. The one, the House with the Arms, right?
Yeah, that one's called Not For Sale.
Okay.
And that was like back in the 90s or so. But, yeah, man, I'm getting ready to do some artwork for Thankful Dirt here for this recording that they're getting ready to work on right now. I'm actually working on artwork today for a band called Black Irish Texas. It's from Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just finishing it up, so I'm kind of leapfrogging from one job to the other.
You're keeping pretty busy, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to keep as busy as I can, you know, and I also teach at the Seattle Art Institute. I freelance and then try to work on stuff. It doesn't all pay, so being busy doesn't necessarily mean being gainfully employed at all times.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about doing artwork for bands.
Bands like the freebies. But who doesn't?
Yeah. So, like, you know, that's the life of an artist. You know, everyone's like, oh, you know, we really would like you to do the artwork for us, but, you know, we don't really have any money or very much money, but can you please do something for us? And it's like, time out of my life, and I got a family and stuff, you know?
Yeah, and it sucks to be good at something.
But, you know, it's the same thing as musicians trying to get compensation for being creative. It's like these days it's just hard to get a living out of being a creative person. It gets harder to do all the time.
It's a give and take, that is for sure.
You can always just go to Google Image and slap together a flyer in 5 minutes if you want.
Right. Well, Pat, I really appreciate you calling in. I was actually hoping that you would. Mitch told me that you might be watching, and it's exciting to talk to you. I know we have talked in the past about doing something with the Bigfoot Diaries, and I haven't forgotten that. It's my.
You know, I might be a good guest to talk to about that. I actually did the movie poster for a Bigfoot movie, a Bigfoot horror film.
Wow.
Called Paper Dolls. It came out in 2007. And it went around all the horror film festivals and stuff and won some awards. It's actually a pretty scary Bigfoot movie. It's one of the better ones.
Paper Dolls. I'm going to Google that and check it out. Maybe I'll...
Yeah, it was filmed in Montana.
Hey, Pat, you're cutting into Thankful Dirt's time here.
Uh-oh. I guess I'm getting the bum's rush here. So I would rather listen to some music. I felt obligated to give a call and say hello after hearing all this stuff, and so now I should step back and listen to some good Iowa music.
Well, I'm so happy you called, and I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate what you're doing for everybody. It's great.
Thanks for calling, man.
It's fun. Hey, keep on rocking. See you guys later.
All right, Pat. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. All right, so we do have Thankful Dirt here with us. We have Darren Matthews, his wife Molly Matthews, and Eric Brown. I'm going to ask you guys just a couple questions, and then we'll kind of go into the music thing. If you don't mind, we'll take a little break and get you set up. Yeah. Songwriting, it's not as simple as writing a poem, and you guys actually had to put. I mean, I've always been very interested in knowing how does a good songwriter write a song? Do you write the words first? Do you put the music out and then you put words to it?
I don't know how a good songwriter does it. Sometimes Darren will write a song completely on his own. He plays guitar so many hours a day that I think he's constantly writing music. I think that's just a constant. And then he'll find words that fit that music. I don't know, you can maybe speak to that a little bit.
Basically, I'm going to quote Ronnie Lane. It's a lot like fishing. You throw your... I'm going to let that one go.
The producer is asking you to, not me.
It's like fishing. You just throw your line out there and hope you catch a fish.
Sometimes, you get a real good song, and other times you get focus.
How do you know when you have a good song? Like when you're writing a song and you're just tooling around on your guitar and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and everybody's asleep in the house, but you're up and you're playing your music, and all of a sudden you just know you have something. And what is it that sparks that?
I've never actually. I think every song is like capturing lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wrong a lot of times before.
Right. Well, you're a busy musician. You've had a pretty busy weekend. You're in Glove Box Whiskey. Didn't you play last night somewhere or yesterday afternoon?
Friday we played up in Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
What day is it?
Today's Sunday. Yesterday, you played a private party in Ankeny.
Oh yeah, and then Star Bar, and then 2 gigs a day, and then Tuesday bait shop, and starts all over again.
It's just a revolving door. Well, do you guys want to play a couple tunes for us?
Sure, we'd love to.
All right, we're going to take a real quick break and just to get enough to get you guys set up, and we'll have Thankful Dirt playing live in the studio.
Woo!
Awesome. All right, we'll be right back.
From the Remax Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Located on 13th Street between Grand and Locust, downtown Des Moines. The Ritual Cafe features an all-vegetarian menu, unique specialty drinks, and they proudly serve organic coffee and espresso. It's the only place in town with all-natural fruit juice smoothies made with hemp nut. They feature live music on the weekends and open mic and unplugged poetry once a month. They also showcase local artists on the wall. No matter what time of the day, begin your ritual at Ritual Cafe downtown. Ritual Cafe, DSMIowa.com.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittysusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
From the Remax Real Estate Concept Studios, this.
We're back in the studio. We have Thankful Dirt live. They're going to do an older song, and they're going to do a newer song. What's the name of the songs, Molly?
The first song we're going to do is Mortgage Day, and it's from our album that came out in 2010.
Okay.
And the second song is called Dirty Old Town, which is going to be on our upcoming trio album.
Okay. Before we get started, do you have a website or anything you would like to plug?
Our Facebook page is probably the best place to keep track of us right now. We're getting our .com back up and running, but it's not up there right now. So just facebook.com/thankfuldirt.
And you have some gigs coming up?
Yeah, I think we're playing out of town in Manning, Iowa, next Saturday night, the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And then our next local gigs, we're going to be in Ankeny at a place called the Cabaret on May 10th. And then May 11th is Jimmy Stricknine's birthday party.
Right, that's going to be a big
at the House of
bash.
Bricks. And we're really looking forward to that. Jacob County's playing a bunch of other good bands. But we like to play, we have a band called County Dirt. That's when we jump in with Jacob County, and we're going to hopefully do a couple songs with them at that show. So.
Love it. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to hear your songs. Let's get going on them.
Sons of the thresher and daughters of the wheat, don't you suffer, so beautiful and sweet. And God bless your mamas with their dust bowl lips, and God bless the babies swinging from their hips. And I don't care if you won't come around. You feel the heat when we touch down. baby. My bunny, lay me down in the weeds. A bottle of whiskey and a tear on your cheek. A bulrush's moon and Oklahoma rain. Well, unrequited love is breaking like a train. And I don't care if you won't come around. You feel the heat when we touch down. Just leave your heart on the outskirts of town, baby. Look for me in the trees. Well, I'll send down a ticker tape charade, and we'll all be happy on mortgage day. I ran through the streets and I ran through the town, shouting, "You never wear the white wedding gown." My missus and my master were sleeping side by side, together in that creek bed they'll forever hide. And I don't care if you won't come around. You feel the heat when we touch down. Just leave your heart on the outside of town, baby. Look for me in the trees. Well, I'll send down a ticker tape charade, and we'll all be happy on mortgage day.
Excellent. What a beautiful song.
Love it.
Mortgage Day.
Darren Matthews all the way. That's all Darren Matthews.
Great song, Darren. We got a few minutes left. Can we go ahead and do another song? You guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's jump right into it.
Let's do our other song. We have two songs. The song's called Dirty Old Town.
Very good. Awesome.
We could take a walk through town. Maybe I'll just hang around. We don't get out, we might just drown in this this dirty old town. Well, you can take it out in trade. Just make sure you don't get played. When the lights begin to fade on this dirty old town. We could make the misery breaks. Pack up the tent, but leave the stakes. We could find some place new where the skies are blue. We can go to the south side. Maybe we can hitch a ride. Just forget about your pride in this dirty old town. Won't do you no good to complain. Just find something to kill your pain. It don't matter, it's all the same in this dirty old town. We could make the misery breaks. Pack up the tent, but leave the stakes. We could find some place new where the skies are blue. We could make the misery breaks. Pack up the tent, but leave the stakes. We could find some place new where the skies are blue. You can bury me in this ground. It's all lost and nothing's found. It will always drag you down. This dirty old town.
Thankful freaking dirt. Awesome. We have gone over our time a little bit, which it's okay. We're not regulated by anybody, I don't think. Before we go, though, I want to thank Thankful Dirt for coming into the studio. I want to thank Mitch and John for coming in. Woo! Obviously, I want to thank Charles, Grant, and Dave for coming down. And I do want to give a shout out to Tom Bolin at Artworks Design. He's been one of our sponsors. He did our poster for us. He does great work.
Designs our t-shirts.
He designs your t-shirts. I also want to give a shout out to Daydreams. Thank them for sponsoring us, and also the Ritual Cafe, the coolest little coffee joint in the world. So we'll see you next time. May 19th is our next show. We'll have some guys from Dead Horse Trauma in the studio, and Jeff Banks will be our musical guest. We're looking forward to seeing you guys then. Have a great month. We'll see you. Bye-bye.